I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What is up, AfterBuzzers? Welcome back to the season finale of Dead to Me. Today, we're going to be breaking down season 2, episodes 9 and 10. It's Not You, It's Me, and where do we go from here? That is a question we're definitely going to have to discuss because honestly, where do we go from here, you guys? These were 2 crazy episodes. As always, I'm your host, Taylor Gates. I'm joined by a full panel of amazing, talented, stunning, groundbreaking hosts tonight. We, of course, have Mia rocking her signature headband.
Thank you. It's by my friend Quentin John. You can go get it online now. He's starting a new company.
I love it.
Yep.
It's working for you. And it's a little Steve Jobs turtleneck. I love that.
Yes, I literally only have I have black clothing and it's the best thing ever. So I'm not complaining.
Well, you're crushing it. Also looking beautiful in black, we have Simone, who is back. She wasn't here earlier, but she did manage to join us for the finale, which I'm very happy about.
Yes. I couldn't miss the finale. Like, never. Not at all.
We would have missed you too much, honestly. And we also have Courtez, who I think has had a different background every single episode.
Yeah. I just love to give a different scenery.
I love it. Shake it up.
I'd like to give something different. I don't have hair, so I got to give different scenery.
I love that. The compensation. That's great. Okay, guys, we literally have so much to break down, but I want to know your overall thoughts. What did we think about this finale? Did it deliver the way that you wanted it to, Mia?
Me first.
Yeah.
It did. I have so much to say. Like, it did. But I'm also like, is it what we needed? Who knows? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. But all I have to say is, okay, did you guys know that I almost said Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell is the executive producer of the show? On the credits, I noticed. I noticed that. 2 seasons deep, and I literally didn't know. But yeah, wild. And also, they just props to Linda and, of course, Christina Applegate, because they cry so much in this episode, and they just do it, and it's so genuine every time. Oh, wild.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. What about you, Simone?
Yeah, I mean, of course I was surprised. Knows how to just throw out a whole bunch of things that you wouldn't expect. Of course, we had like the cycle that continues. And I'm just excited for season 3. And Taylor and I were saying we have to wait a whole year, but probably longer because they're not going to be able to shoot because of quarantine. So it's even sadder that we're going to have to wait longer than we should.
It's gonna kill me. Courtez, overall thoughts?
I'm upset because I didn't mention this in the previous predictions, but I felt like that she was going to give this information to Judy at a later time when it was time to end the season, and that's what I don't like. I'm like, really? I would have wanted to see this happen many episodes ago, but it didn't. So we can just talk about it because I'm upset. I'm mad.
I feel like it's better to be honest from the get-go.
I know. Well, not from the get-go. Maybe like 2 episodes sooner, and then we could have had more story. But it's like you give it just like boom, it's over. It's like no, don't do us like that.
Yeah, they like to 9th inning. They like to just zip on, or 7th inning. I don't know baseball.
I was like, yes.
Whatever. I'll go with it.
One of the later innings. Drop the bomb. Let's talk about Jen and Ben because it is the morning after, and Jen is having some thoughts and feelings about it. Were you surprised that she kind of had a little breakdown with her comforter in her bathroom by herself?
No, because she has a lot of breakdowns and they're never in appropriate spaces ever. So that's not surprising. I don't know if you guys have this reaction when you watch awkward TV, but like I vicariously feel uncomfortable when other people are having awkward situations. So I was just cringing and I was like, just stop talking, just go in the shower. But my heart broke when she broke up with him because they really are a good match. I think they balance each other out very well. He, like a Judy, is so much more like beta and she's so alpha, but they balance each other out really well. So when she broke things off with him, it was disappointing.
Yeah. Cortez, oh, sorry.
Oh, no,
Go ahead.
Cortez. I was
No.
I was so shocked. Like, I don't know why. And I was mad at myself for being shocked that they slept together because clearly that was where it was leading. But I was like, when this scene came up, this first scene I literally was like, they actually did it. Oh my gosh. And then like to kill someone's brother and then to sleep with them is so low. Like, I know we love them together, but I also just cannot get over the fact that Jen did that. I'm like, you're not thinking about breaking his heart. Like, Ben is a good guy and you are breaking his heart. And I love Jen, but I'm like, honestly, like this is like a dick move of her. And it just, it also scared me too when Steve's face popped up over Ben's when they were laying there. I was like, ah! So yeah, bringing that horror movie vibes back to the beginning again. Yeah, it was
for
nuts.
real though.
Yeah.
You know what I thought?
No, I just want to say this quickly, like, we in the last review, the last after show, we said that I said that I hope that they would stop there, and they clearly didn't stop there. She took it all the way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
You did say that. That's so funny.
I was just gonna say, Mia, when you were like, it's crazy that she slept with his brother. I mean, she killed his brother, and now she's sleeping with him. But you know what I thought of? As Steve is a sociopath, and I'm pretty sure if the roles were reversed, Steve would totally do something like that. Like, he would kill someone and then sleep with the sister and act as though things were normal.
And the mom, everybody,
but not even feel remorseful about it. Like, he is so emotionally like disconnected with people's emotions. Like, he wouldn't even feel bad.
Yeah.
That's probably true. Yeah, I feel like, I can't even imagine what Steve would do if he's in this situation. I bet he's been in this situation, to be honest. He has ties to this Greek mafia. Like, you're telling me he's never done something similar. Like, he has. Okay, he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I think it made a lot of sense that Jen had the reaction that she had. I agree. I thought it was really sad how she was like, nothing about me, and he's trying to kind of reassure her, but she's still just pushing him away just because she is just cannot shake these guilty feelings that she has. And so she decides to kind of channel this, as she tends to do. She channels her emotions from one thing into something completely different. This time it is in fact the stop sign. We've been building up to the stop sign for so many episodes of this season now. And so the dam kind of breaks when she gets this letter saying that the city council has denied her proposal for the stop sign. And she goes to the city hall, and she has this incredible speech about why the stop sign is so important. I really liked this. We've gotten a lot of depth to her character this season, but I thought this was something, I don't know. I thought this was like something different for Jen. So I want to know what you guys thought of this city hall scene.
I mean, I think once I realized that she was very insistent on getting the stop sign confirmed, like, I realized that it was her way of like fighting for justice for her husband's death. So I wasn't surprised when she always spazzes, but I wasn't surprised when she did spaz, and it basically revealed, like, I don't want someone else to relive the pain that I had to go through. And I was just also here for the moment when she read that guy to filth for assaulting her. I was like, you better put him in his place. And I'm so happy she didn't stay silent and like let him diminish her in front of all these people. She actually defended herself. So that was very empowering.
Yeah.
That blew me. I'm sorry. Like, I was like, did he not think she was going to bring it up? Like, what?
Right.
I was just like, you're the guy. I feel like he assaulted me. I was like, you're the guy that assaulted us. Like, what are you doing? Like, you cannot try to take me down for anything, honestly. So Jen is, obviously he didn't know who Jen was. She's not that character to be quiet. She's a very verbal woman.
Don't come from Brooklyn. I'm gonna start calling her Brooklyn.
Don't come for it.
But I love this too. I just thought the scene had such beautiful acting on her part, and like, give them all the Emmys. I love it.
For
and
real.
of course, hate Andrew. And her wit is just so good. It's just I just feel like I would just freeze up. Like Simone said, like I would just be like, oh wow, ooh, this is scary. But she literally is like, no, that is not what happened. And so believable. Everybody in the panel was like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe if there's season 3, he'll get some, like, there'll be some repercussions and he'll get in trouble, or we'll see something with that, because that was pretty awful.
I would love that. I agree. I thought it was a really interesting choice to bring him back. I didn't really see that coming. And then when we saw him back, I was like, wait, what are we doing with the storyline again? So I'm wondering if that will be, I wonder if he'll pop back up like next season or what. Because I was like, oh, I like didn't forget that it happened, but it was like an interesting way to bring that back to the forefront, I guess. But I thought that scene was so good. And I loved, her, of course, mixture of rage and mourning at the same time. We also have Judy going to see her mom, which I got it backwards in my predictions. I was like, oh, I bet she's out of jail and didn't tell her, but I guess she's in jail and didn't tell her.
We're still basically spot on.
Yeah. Like,
she's in jail.
She's in jail, yeah. And I thought their dynamic was really interesting. It was a little bit more like playful, I guess, than I expected. What did you guys think initially upon like seeing her mom? Like, what were your impressions of her?
I love the interactions. You can go, Courtez. Yeah, you go.
No, it's simple. I love the interactions. Her mom gave me if Judy was like a bad person in jail, because she had the same bang, and I was like, I know that bang. Like it was, they were the same person, and she just had a more of a distressed bang, and Judy's bang is a little more like out of jail. But I thought they were the same person in the sense of like their energy. Like I enjoyed it, but I want to know why is she in jail? That's just my thought.
Yeah, it was just like this weird slippery slope. Like in the first scene we meet her, I saw so many similarities. Clearly, like Judy has like issues from her mom abandoning her, but in their demeanor and how she's like, you always make friends with the guards and you do all this stuff. And I was like, wow, I do see similarities in like how they are to people, and how she just was like very sweet to her and playful to her, like Taylor was saying. But then clearly that changes in the future scenes with her. And I was pretty taken aback. I don't know if you guys were shocked at all by that, but I was like, dang, I thought she was like a good person. And when she was like, I paid for this time, like this is what I deserve, I was like, wow, I see where Judy gets that from too. So I was sad when it kind of went back downhill. So, and when she said, oh, motherhood is so overrated, I was like, that is so rude. I was like, okay, sit your ass in jail, all right, lady? Like, I was mad. That was so rude. So rude.
That's not something you tell your child. Like, journal about it, pray to God about it, vent to
write on your cell wall.
Just like, don't say that. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but when she made that comment, like Judy's demeanor completely changed. Because imagine not seeing your mom for I think 15 years or something like that, and then you're finally reunited, and she just makes a comment like that. Like that's just very insensitive.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times this season when we've been discussing, we have been saying, oh, I bet that taking sort of this like abuse from people is kind of what Judy is used to. And I think that was so evident in this scene, because her mom reminds me so much of Steve in ways, in the way that she has this great appearance and is so nice, but she's so manipulative and so like she knows how to twist the knife without it sounding bad. But then when you think about it, you're like, whoa, that was so messed up. How she brought up like Judy testifying against her, even though she was just a kid. How she's like, oh, I need money for this parole hearing. So like she's so good at trying to like get people to do what she wants them to do without actually caring about them, which is exactly how Steve was. So I think it makes so much like even more sense of why Judy would gravitate towards people like Steve after seeing how her mom acts. It's like the female version of him in a way.
Wow. And it's good that you mentioned that, Taylor, because a lot of times people seek out like they've been loved a certain way, so that's the only type of love they know. So they seek that out because that's normal to them, despite that being so toxic and unhealthy. So it makes sense that she would fall in love with someone like a Steve, because that's how her mom treated her. It's not okay, but that's like what she's used to.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it just broke my heart, and I'm excited to talk about their later scenes too. I thought it was just, I mean, we talked about earlier in the season, we're like, oh, I hope we get to see more of like Judy's family, maybe like meet her mom. And now that we did, I'm just like, it's like kind of.
We don't want to meet her anymore.
Oh yeah, someone did predict that. Wow.
I was just hoping, so I was like, oh, I would like to see it. And so I'm just really excited that we got to see her, even though she's a lady character. We get a lot of sad things happening to Jen here as well, especially having to do with her kids. Basically, to put it simply, neither of them really trust her anymore. There's the fact of Henry finding out that Jen told Shandy to lie about the bird. He even asked for Judy to come upstairs later. You know, Charlie is like, I don't trust you. You definitely burnt this car. So I feel like her world is just starting to unravel with her relationships with her sons. What did you think about kind of Jen's dynamic with both of them in this episode?
I actually really liked those beginning scenes, and I thought it was like just the nuances in her acting and her parenting, I think is so cool in the way, like, even after Jen was like saying everything to Henry and he was like, I want Judy to come upstairs, she just like hugged him and lay next to him for a minute and was like, okay, I love you, like, good night. And I was like, that's so sweet. And then when like Charlie came up in the hallway, she was so firm and believable. And like, this is the thing I said this last episode, it's like she's kind of gaslighting her own son, but it's true. Like, Steve was involved with dangerous people and she was like, no, I'm the parent, I'm gonna be honest with you, but also that's what, I mean, like, none of us have kids, but like, parents, and I know my parents always say this too, is like, you have to be honest with your kids, but like you're also their protectors. You can't tell them everything. Like, that's irresponsible. So like, I'm not saying it's like keep lying, you killed someone, but I'm also saying like the way she handled it, I thought was like just a cool thing to see, how she was like, no, like, we're not going any further. So yeah, I liked it.
And it technically wasn't a lie. He was involved with dangerous people, the Greek mafia. So she wasn't lying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think she was lying. She was. I mean, it's like it's a truth, but it's like not the truth you kind of want to tell your child. But you know, it's kind of like this is what it has to be. You know, kind of like tough love, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I mean, speaking of Charlie, there's some stuff going on with him too, as we see Judy goes, and we touched on a little bit last episode about how she's kind of developing this relationship with Perez, sort of a little bit. So she goes and gives her the drawing of Flo, which I thought was really, really sweet. Asked her about, maybe she can get her paintings back. But that conversation quickly takes another turn when Perez and Nick are like, listen, we have this photo of Charlie with this car. There's so much motive for him. He's angry about his dad's death. He has access to a gun. And we kind of see that Hastings is pulling all of these strings. Were you surprised that they were going to try to throw Charlie under the bus? Did you think they actually believed that Charlie might have something to do with it?
I feel like they were just doing their jobs. Like, they just had to follow whatever trail they had.
Yeah.
And I think, like they said, and even his name is Hastings, right?
Yeah.
He was like, did you dangle the bait? And they were kind of like, I think everyone kind of knew it wasn't Charlie, but they were like, we just have to do our jobs and follow the leads. And we know that this is going to actually lead to the real story. But yeah, it's just interesting too, to see, how he was with Nick, which was like little bits of like racially motivated, like racist statements to him about like homie, and then with Perez, like the sexism, like the little nuances in the show, and like we touched on privilege earlier. Like, I thought it was like really cool if they don't like hit you over like the head with it, but they bring it up. So I thought that was really cool that then we saw it. It wasn't cool, but it was like interesting that we saw it then with Perez in that scene too, where he was like girl or whatever he called her, miss. I don't remember, but yeah.
I think we knew that obviously like Charlie he didn't murder Steve, and they knew that as well. But they know that Judy cracks. She gets very confessy and she's very emotional. So that was just used as a way for them to feel more inclined to tell the truth, which it worked. So, I mean, like Mia said, they were doing their jobs and it was effective.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. Like, I think I don't think they thought that he did it. They just need to kind of bring someone down. And I mean, based off what he's been involved in, it makes sense for it to be Charlie. And for them to come at Charlie in that way. So it's just kind of unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, they dangled the bait, and it definitely worked, because Judy goes home to Jen, spills everything, and she's like, listen, I'm going to take the blame for this. I love this whole scene. This took up a good chunk of the episode. This just conversation and argument between Judy and Jen. She admits that she was going to kill herself the night that Jen kicked her out, until Jen, called her. And maybe this is like her chance to kind of save her and her son. What did you guys think about this whole blow up and Judy wanting to kind of take this blame? Were you so shocked, or were you like, yeah, this is classic Judy?
She's a martyr. Like, she's always willing to sacrifice herself for someone else's well-being, even though in this situation, like, Jen actually committed the crime. But I just think it just shows how pure and beautiful her heart is. But it really broke me when Jen was like, you don't care. Like, as long as you get attention from someone, you latch onto them. And I was like, oh my gosh, do not say that. Like, that's unresolved trauma, and that's the way she is. That's the reason why she is the way she is. But like, don't say that. And for the first time, we actually saw Judy blow up, and rightfully so. I kind of even wish she blew up more, but it was nice to see her let that aggression out.
That scene touched me. It touched me a lot, and I hated the way that Jen responded, but it just kind of took you down the tunnel to old Jen. We have been building a lot in this season, a lot of a very vulnerable and a very a person that is more open. But when it came to this scene, it was like Jen went right back to what she knew, and it was kind of unfortunate because it seems like Judy was kind of accepting, like, okay, like, he said awful things to you, so he didn't need to be killed, but I'm not mad at you. But Jen just blew up, and it was just like, no, shut up, Jen, like, be quiet. And she didn't shut up, and just made it worse. And I was just like, oh God, like, Jen, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, you go, Taylor.
I just think it goes back to what we were saying, I think during the Vigil episode, about how Jen only knows how to deal with things when people are yelling at her and she can yell back. When the other person's not going to engage, like, that's when she's the most uncomfortable, because we see her, following Judy out when she storms out. And it's like, you only love people who give you a morsel of attention. That's why you're with Steve and her mom, which is just like such an awful thing to say. And Jen immediately noticed that and feels bad. And she's like, okay, hit me, run me over with a car, punch. Like, she needs violence so she can retaliate. Like, she doesn't know how to deal with someone who's not going to engage with her.
So it's almost like her anger feels more justified if you fire back with aggression. Well, you were rude to me, so I don't feel bad about being rude to you.
Yeah. And I've said this in the last episode too. I just feel like Jen kind of, like, she gaslights Judy a little bit, I think. Not all the time, but like, just, and that's why I had a lot of thoughts. I think there's a lot of going on in this scene. And one thing I noticed is that, like, well, first of all, I was in tears. This is the first time the show actually made me cry. Like, I was tearing up, and I was just like, oh, the acting is just so good, and like all the things they're saying. And it really just, like, it just touched me, and it like hurt, because in this moment, like, I just saw, like, it was like these two women who came together by these awful circumstances, but like, they both were betrayed, like, by both of their significant others. And like, these men in their lives made them believe that they were awful. Like, we learned that about Jen with Ted in the first season. Like, he made her seem like she was awful, and like, she thought it was her fault. And she even said in the scene, she's like breaking down, like, I believe it, like, it's my fault. And then clearly we talk about Steve so much with Judy. And so it was just these two women who literally like, no, I'm awful. No, I'm awful. No, I'm awful. And it's just like, look what's happened to them. And they kind of like, they kill people, but like, they aren't actually like bad people. So it was just like so heartbreaking to me. It was so moving. And then also, like you said, Courtez earlier, I was thinking the same thing. I've had it in my notes, like every single show, but I haven't said it. But I was like, I'm surprised Jen hadn't told Judy the truth until the 9th episode. Like, that just seems so un-Jen-like. Like, I thought she'd say it much earlier, but I think it was just kind of another metaphor or like lesson in this show that like telling the truth is not always easy. And I think
she's tried.
Yeah. Jen like thought it would be easy, but it wasn't. So, and everything she said was so also untrue, what she said to Judy about Judy latching on to anyone who like whatever, or is like, who she like gets off on people being mean to her. And I was like, Michelle wasn't mean to you.
Oh, that's so true.
But then you ruined that for her. So like, that's why I'm also like, Jen realizes that she's the bad guy sometimes, and she is. Like, that was just so not true and also mean what she said. So
I'm glad that we had that moment of them in the car where they're both like just crying and just letting everything out, because I think it needed like to happen. I know they cry a lot, but this felt like very cleansing, and it was so nice that to see Jen like be the one to kind of comfort Judy and like tuck her into bed, which was so sweet. Like it just, I think it's a testament to how like their relationship saves them both in a lot of ways. And then we get this crazy cliffhanger of Jen writing these notes and putting the bird inside the safe. It feels like she's very much wrapping stuff up. And I was like, where is she going? Because it clearly feels like she is about to flee to somewhere. Like maybe she'll flee to, I don't know, Mexico or something. But no, she decides that she is going to Perez's house. I don't know about you. I clicked play on the next one immediately. So let's go straight to the next one, shall we? Let's pick up Jen at Perez's house. How did you anticipate that scene was going to go? And then what were your reactions to how it actually went?
I didn't think Perez was going to cry, but it was so nice to see her crack and her be human. Like, oh, you actually have feelings like us? Because she's so hard on the exterior. So it was nice to see her soften up.
For sure.
I was glad to see that because I mentioned, I think the last episode, that she's so like invested into this whole, not even just work, like this whole situation. She's like obsessed. So I was glad to see that she was like, I just want to be regular. I don't know, like it seemed, I don't know what happened, but she wanted to be normal, you know, a very normal person. So I was glad to see it. You know, I wanted to like Perez earlier, but now I like her more, especially what happens with her and Jen. And she's just like, you're going to go home. And I'm like, yay. Like, this is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of great because there's like more people involved.
I couldn't believe that Jen showed up at her house. I was like, this poor lady is off duty. She cannot catch a freaking break. No. But I did love that they gave her more of a role, and like her scenes later in this episode with Jen. Oh my gosh, she's a really good actor, and love to see it. But I'm just like, Michelle really is just gone, huh? She's up and at 'em. I was like, this girl really just left, but
peace out, man.
That's just sad. That makes me so sad. I'm just like, Michelle, come back. Like Judy needs you. Come back.
She'll be back.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah. But yeah, let's talk more about what happens after, you know, Jen does tell Perez the truth. Because I was like, oh, Perez is dragging her to jail ASAP. But I guess they have to go find the body, which makes sense. So they, you know, take another trip to the Angeles forest and they can't find it, which I thought was so like darkly funny. Like they just are walking around, like just cannot find the body whatsoever. And so they've been walking around for too long. And finally Perez is like, all right, like let's just get in the car. And they have this really like deep conversation about both of them kind of losing their moms. And Jen is like, I don't know how like my kids are going to lose their moms. I'm going to jail now. What did you guys think about this scene? I found it really unexpected.
Like
so
she's been like bubbling like every single episode. We see that she's fearful of losing her kids and leaving them behind. But this is like when she actually exploded and really like let everything out. And I like the Jen that's vulnerable. I like the Jen that cries, as painful as it is. I think it makes her like as cheesy as it sounds, it makes her a better person, and it makes her more relatable when she's not yelling or being like ridiculous and extra. And they connected, and clearly it worked because Perez let her go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was anyone else like, is this how an investigation goes?
That is
You let this girl who literally is claiming to have killed someone bring you alone to a forest where your body might be in a second too. I was like, that is so funny. But I love that. And we also see a reoccurring thing too with Jen, where like when Perez asked about herself and was like, so what about your mom? Jen was like, people ask questions about other people's lives. Like Jen is just, when it rains, it pours for her. She's just like venting, crying. But like you said, like, I think she needs to do that to get it out. So
yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
It was a nice scene. It was a nice scene to see. I was just glad to see, you know, Perez like have that moment because she just seems so inhuman all before now, and now she's like showing that she's. And honestly, I hate that it took for the situation with Flo and Michelle to happen, but something had to happen, and it happened. And I'm glad that our friend Jen is not going to jail. At least we don't think she is right now.
For now.
Yeah, I also really liked seeing Judy get to kind of play mom for a second. Like, obviously, she has been a maternal figure in both of their lives, but the fact that it's like quote unquote official now after Jen like wrote the really, really sweet letter, which I was like, oh, it's really making me emotional.
But okay, question. But how do you feel about like her just giving that role to Judy? Like, not saying she wouldn't have taken it, but it's kind of like she just like, I'm turning myself in, raise the kids. Like, how do you feel about that?
I think it made sense, to be honest, because like Jen feels this guilt and she is the one that did it. And I think that what really started pushing everything like sort of over the edge is the fact that Charlie could be implicated. And the fact that Judy was willing to take the fall for Charlie, I think proved to Jen that like, oh, she loves these kids more than anyone else besides me in this world.
And they love her. They love her. They do.
Yeah.
Did anyone want chocolate chip pancakes after they saw that scene?
Yes.
You were perfectly stacked.
They're so cute.
And I want freshly squeezed orange juice.
Yes! I'm like, she's the perfect mom. Who makes freshly squeezed orange juice? Like, you're too...
I know, my mom
her run with Karen, that was so funny.
Gosh, the Karen run was so funny.
Revenge
yeah, with Karen. Oh my gosh, Karen.
Yes, Karen, come back snatched.
Revenge buddy on deck.
He is so hilarious. I also really love that scene. Like, it's such a good little moment of comedy too, with all like the really pretty heavy stuff going on.
Yeah.
I also loved that we do get Charlie finally telling a secret of his own, because he does keep secrets too. He has learned from the best and is a little sneaky sometimes. He finally gives Judy the thumb drive that he found in Steve's little container that he found in the car, and it's all in Greek. And so Judy's like, all right, well, this is pretty good ammunition. So he takes it to Nick and says, I love how she assumes that Jen has like turned herself in there, and Nick's like, what are you talking about? She's like, just send her in case she needs help. Like, I need you to help her out. I thought that was so funny. But I also like that Nick was kind of like soft with her. Like, it seemed like they were kind of going back on somewhat okay terms.
Yeah.
Did you guys think that same way?
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
I thought so too. Yeah. He was just being, he was unnecessarily being an a-hole to her in past episodes. And I was like, okay, dude, like, she broke your heart. Like, you don't have to keep giving her that
Let it go.
energy. Yeah, just let it go. So I was happy that he wasn't being a prick.
Yeah. I like that scene too. And I liked that I love that like Nick and Perez are like sort of on each other's team against Hastings too. We kind of find out, which is so funny. You guys kind of mentioned earlier how he sucks, like he is, throwing microaggressions all around in terms of like him being racist and sexist. And so I love that they like took it upon themselves to be like, we got him in this recording. So I thought that was amazing. And I kind of wanted to hear the recordings though. I kind of wanted to see like, how is he implicated.
Maybe they'll come back.
I mean, I'm sure they will. Everything comes back in the show, I feel like.
It really does. Even the characters, like Shandy.
Oh, Shandy.
Oh gosh, Shandy.
I miss her.
The next sitcom. Oh, Shandy.
Shandy. But yeah, we do get the Hastings is implicated, and so it seems like everything might be okay, at least for right now. But oh wait, we still have 20 minutes of the episode left, so obviously that ain't gonna happen. But we do get these nice little moments up until then. We have Jen and Judy kind of having a conversation about how they need to forgive themselves, and they need to like kind of look at themselves and change a little bit. And I like how Jen told Judy, you need to say no to people more. I was like, she really does. It's like her downfall. She's such a people pleaser to a fault. But I really love that, and I love that we see growth. Let's talk about maybe Jen's growth first, because she goes back to grief group that she hated so much in season 1.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about that and her kind of opening up about her mom?
Like I said, I think this, as traumatic and scary and tense as the whole Steve situation was, it really forced her to like evolve and tap into the trauma and the grief that she was suppressing. And she said in that meeting, like, she never really talked about her mom's passing. And that's probably, you can probably attribute that to why she is the way she is. So like, in a weird way, such an awful event kind of helped her be a better version of herself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that we see Jen kind of internalizing the advice that Judy gave her by going to the group. And then we see Judy kind of putting like Jen's advice into action too, because she goes to visit her mom and her mom is acting the same way, like pretending to be this nice woman. And then she's like, oh yeah, like it was really hard for me too. Like you were such a baby. Like what? Who says
we are not doing that energy in 2020. No. No backhanded apologies. I think I probably didn't I like go off about this on another episode when someone
I don't know, but do it again.
Like stop. Okay, 2020. I was tweeting this the other day. 2020 is the year of no backhanded apologies. Stop saying, "Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way." Like, "Oh, I was hurt too." No, she came to and expressed what was going on. Well, first of all, she was like, I don't really want to hash this out. And it's like, oh, we're going to hash this out right now. You gave me how many years of pain? First of all. Second of all, she's up here like, oh, like I'm also hurt. And like, you were crying. You were a baby. You were so much, like making it Judy's fault. And then saying like, oh, you're sensitive now too. Like these are backhanded apologies. We do not accept that energy anymore. And just take ownership. People need to take ownership of their actions.
A grown adult.
Yes. And if you have a problem, you can express that later, different times separately. When someone comes to you and says, this is the problem I have with you, you address that. And so that's what she should have done. But clearly she's not a good person. So whatever. I guess she's just going to sit in jail for a few more years.
Drop that mic, Mia. Yeah.
Mic drop.
Oof.
Should I?
Liz, drops mic and does this.
I love that.
No, I agree though. Like, and Judy was like, you're blaming it on a baby? Like, huh?
Happy she said that.
That
Good for
crazy.
Judy. Good for her.
Yeah.
She said no. She finally said no to her. She's like, because you haven't changed. I'm not going to tell the parole board that you have.
And the truth came in handy. The truth came in handy because she's always like, I can't lie. And she said that before to her mom when they were in the court. And she was like, I'm sorry, I couldn't not tell the truth. And this is the truth. The mom didn't change. So she was just telling the truth.
So true. Oh, that's so poetic.
It's very true, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I love that moment.
You give me too much credit.
No, it's so poetic. All of your insights, and it's like, oh wow, yes. But I completely agree. I thought that scene was so good. But I also, I guess, we can predict, but I feel like we might still see her again. I mean, this was a little 2-episode arc. I don't know. I feel like she ain't gone. But we do get some more happy-ish news because Judy does get her paintings back. But more than her paintings, she gets a lot of cash back. And they use it to help Jen basically have nothing to do with Lorna besides be a grandparent, because she's given her the Woods estate. She's making Lorna get bought out of the house. Ooh, this was beautiful. What did we think about Lorna?
I like Lorna. Let me say this. Like, I like her personality. But I was glad that she was able to, because, you know, Judy has had a lot of access to a lot of money, I will say. And it was in this situation, it was very essential to help Jen get away from Lorna, who's hilarious, but it's like that is like her, that's the burden on her shoulder. I feel like it's regardless of everything that's happening, it's still Lorna is right there waiting for whatever. She's right there to make her life a living hell. So I was glad to see that, you know, and I thought she was going to be like, where did this come from? Oh, hell no. But I was glad that she was just like, okay, you're paying me off, great. It was good.
Did she give you Scorpio energy coming from a Scorpio? But is Lorna a Scorpio?
If you give me money, I'm just gonna go away. I don't care. I'm out of here.
Wait, who both said she's a Scorpio?
I was asking Courtez because Courtez is a Scorpio, and he said, "Oh, I liked her personality." And I was like, "Is she a Scorpio? You think?"
Listen, she was just like, you give me money, but she was smart enough to be like, oh, like are you paying me off? But she's like, well, I'm gonna get paid off and go bye. I enjoyed that.
I had questions about how she hid the money in the back of all those paintings. When did that happen? Does anyone else like go down a rabbit hole in their minds about that?
No, I don't remember. I feel like it was before all this started, right?
She had so much access to money, like
so smart, but also why?
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm wondering if we're gonna see more of that too, because that feels hella suspicious.
Like this mafia. Like I need to see next season mafia. I want to see mafia.
I love it.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about these insane cliffhangers, and one of the main ones has to do with our good pal Ben, who is helping his mom kind of pack up the house or do something at the house, and he gets a call, and we're assuming that the call is perhaps about how Steve's remains have been found, because we do see this little moment of this dog getting real nosy, a little Karen dog getting real nosy, trying to dig.
A little Karen dog.
So weak. Oh my gosh, Taylor.
And I mean, it's a Karen dog. What can I say?
It's so true. You're so funny.
And so he goes, and we're assuming that's what he hears. Do you think that's actually what he heard? I'm curious, because there's theories that like maybe someone else called him, and that's not what he found. Maybe maybe it's a mafia connection or something.
You just dropped a bomb.
Right.
Whatever he found had him in distress.
Yes.
It had him like in a frenzy. So it could be many. I don't know what else it could be outside of that. It would make sense for it to be what you said, Taylor, but I don't know.
I'm with Taylor. I didn't think that, but that makes perfect sense. And she's been right about a lot so far.
I don't know.
Genius. That's genius.
I don't know. I'm curious about that. I mean, but I guess we can go off the assumption that he just found out that Steve died. And so that's got him pretty worked up, understandably so. And so we have this crazy moment. I think someone said it earlier, where everything kind of goes full circle. And I think that is just so true of this scene. Jen and Judy are having so much fun in the car they just bought for Charlie. They talk about when you go on vacations. And we actually have a lot of full circle moments, because they're at the stop sign that Jen petitioned so hard for. And so that's great. That's a moment of celebration. But 2 seconds later, we have a car just completely ram into them. Thoughts about that crazy moment?
Okay, wait. I want to go back for 2 seconds, because after you just dropped that amazing light bulb on us, I was just thinking, you're so right, because he didn't turn to his mom. Wouldn't you think? So when he was with Jen and found out that he was the first time when they thought it was going to be his body, he was going to the police station, he looked to Jen and he was like, oh my God, I really don't want to go alone, or whatever he's saying. And she was like, I'll go with you. But this time he did not. His mom was right there. And you're right. It's sketchy. He did not say anything to his mother. He didn't say they found the body. Nothing. He was like, I'm going to get ice cream. And it cannot be, because he didn't want to worry her. That is not a good enough excuse. So you're right. Something is weird.
We don't hear the other side of the conversation. We cannot assume anything in the show unless we hear it with our own ears.
Okay, I'm going to go off of that. But this is how I felt about the ending. To me, personally, it should have ended with the tree. When we saw the dog, Karen dog, digging up the thing, and we saw the marking on the tree that Judy said, it honestly should have ended there. That would have been a perfect ending. I was so mad it ended with him crashing into the side of them. Like, I just feel like it's not a payoff. It's not the same payoff. Like, you can't have one season end, or like a show start with like the best friend killing her husband, and then the best friend then killing the other girl's husband, and then have the third season end / start with someone just crashing into the car and driving away.
With that.
Tell me, Taylor.
Because the entire show started with a hit and run. And so the fact that we're ending the second season with a hit and run with the both of them involved, it still feels satisfying to me.
Like karma.
Away. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. But I'm like, nobody died. Like,
because no one dies. That's relieving. I would just that's much better than no one dies.
But I see what you're saying, Taylor. Though I see what you're saying. Yeah, that it's like karma. It makes sense that it would happen to them after they did it. But I'm like, they're still alive.
I mean, that's how Jen's husband. I mean, that's how Judy accidentally killed.
That's their connection.
Everything off. Yeah. So I don't know. And we also have we have like a triple cliffhanger, I guess, almost. Because we also have Charlie, who's snooping around for weed, finding the letter that Jen wrote to all of them. Oof. I don't imagine he's going to be.
He's just finding everything he shouldn't be finding. I'm like, oh God.
It really is. I guess we can save this for our like season ending predictions or season 3 predictions. But yeah, I just wanted to let you all know that was also a thing that happened at the end of this episode. Mia, you have one last dead or tread for us for the end of the season, yeah?
Yes, I'm so sad. It's the final one, but this is the last dead or tread. Everybody do a tire scratch. All right, so in this game, we name some scenarios from the show, and then we decide amongst ourselves, and if you're in the live chat, do that as well, about if we think the offender of the situation would be dead to us, or if we forgive them and just, tread, move forward, just do it so lightly. So, situation 1, if your mom told you that motherhood was overrated, but then asked you, for favors, would she be dead to you? Or are you like, she's my mom, I'll forgive her and tread lightly? How do you feel?
Ooh, here's the thing. I feel like I just love my mom so much. So maybe she just was having a bad moment. It would hurt me, but I would probably tread.
Yeah, I would tread just because, motherhood is exhausting and it's extremely hard. And I would just be like, I would just say maybe she didn't say her words correctly. Like she didn't really mean it's overrated. She just meant it's hard. And I know that my mom means well. She loves me. So yeah, I would tread.
Dead. No, I'm kidding. No, I would say I would be upset because me and my mom, we're mother and son, but we do have like sister and brother sometimes. So we have those heated discussions. So, we have those moments where we're like, I'm not talking to you for a second, but it's all love. Oh,
you disappeared for a second.
Sorry, did you hear that?
You're back. No, you're good.
Sorry, we have that brother-sister relationship, so it's like it's all love. But I would tread.
That's fair.
I think that it depends. Like me and my mom, I agree with Simone, Taylor, all you guys. Like I would just be like, Mom, and then I'd be like, whatever. You literally birthed me from your body. Whatever you want, like I'll do it. Yeah. But if I was in Judy's situation, no, I would. Right. If it was like that, and I think I was her, and she said that to me after all these years, and I came to visit her, I'd be like, yeah, you're dead to me. Like, bye. I'm not coming back then. That's fine. So we're running short of time. Do you want to do one more really quickly? Or should we go?
Maybe tweet it out. Tweet out the next one.
Okay, we're going to tweet this out. Follow @HotMessMia, and we'll tweet out our last question.
Amazing. I think we have like 1 minute. Simone, do you want to do news real fast?
Yes, I'll make it really fast. So Judy's mom is actually Katie Seagal, who played Christina Applegate's mom in the show Married with Children. And so in an interview with TV Line, Liz Feldman said she already knew she wanted to introduce the mom into the plot, but she never thought it was going to be Katie. And then when she told Christina was like, oh my gosh, like she has to get on board. So there might be a possibility of an on-screen reunion for season 3 if a season 3 does happen. So crossing our fingers.
I love that. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That is so funny that it's like she's playing all of the moms,
right?
Characters, which is so fun. She's so great too. So yes, I would love to see more of her. Okay, guys, I would like you to first say one word you think will describe season 3, and then plug where everyone can find you on social media to give more predictions and talk more about the show.
Okay, I'll say trippy because I don't know what's gonna happen. And they always trip me up anyway. And I'm just gonna be like, wait, what? So that's my word. And you guys can find me at Simone Thomas on Instagram and Twitter.
Awesome.
Okay.
Mia, would you like to go?
I'll go. I'll say immersive because I feel like we found more about all of their lives just below the surface. So I liked that. And you can find me on Twitter at HotMessMedia. I'll tweet out the dead or tread question. And on Instagram at yours truly, Mia.
Amazing. What about you, Courtez?
Okay, and I would say blasphemy because I just think that they should have given us this much sooner, but they didn't. So I'm mad. But I can't. That leaves room for season 3. And you can follow me on IG at StupidWildTaz, and let's talk about more of it if you want to.
Awesome. Yes, I'm gonna say explosive because I feel like that's just every episode of the show is just so explosive, and it keeps getting crazier and crazier. You guys can find me on Twitter at @alphaba_ and on Instagram at Taylor_Gace_. Definitely tweet us your predictions, what you thought of the season. Guys, it has been so much fun breaking this down with all of you. I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching. Thank you to this amazing panel. This has been so much fun. And we're crossing our fingers for season 3. So we're going to say it's a win, not an if. So when we see you guys again, I'm so excited to keep talking about it. So thank you guys again, and hope you enjoyed our season 2, breakdowns. Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.